If your clone can't touch your calendar, your inbox, or your drive, you're leaving a huge amount of its potential untapped. In this video, I'm walking you through exactly how to set up a Google connection in CloneForce, step by step from zero to verified and working. Once this connection is live, your clone can securely access and act within Google Calendar, Gmail, Google Drive, Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Without it, none of the Google-powered operators will fire. With it, your clone goes from being a smart conversational assistant to a true digital worker, one that can schedule meetings, read and send emails, manage files, and run automations on your behalf. You can trigger those actions from a live chat session, or let the Schedule tab handle them automatically on a recurring basis. And you stay in full control. You can disconnect and revoke access at any time. Before we touch any settings, let's make sure you're ready to go. The most important thing to confirm right now: make sure you are already signed into the correct Google account in your browser before you start the connection flow. This matters more than it sounds. If your organization manages both a personal Google account and a Google Workspace account, you need to be intentional about which one you authorize. Connecting the wrong account leads to misrouted emails, calendar conflicts, and drive files landing in the wrong place. Here's something worth knowing. CloneForce uses Google OAuth, which means the platform never sees or stores your Google password. You're granting delegated, scope-limited access only for the specific services you approve. That's a secure, industry-standard approach. One more thing. If your organization enforces Google Workspace admin policies, your IT administrator may need to pre-approve CloneForce as an authorized OAuth application before your connection attempt will succeed. We'll cover what to do if you hit that wall in a moment. Now let's get into it. The Connections area lives at the account level inside Clone Studio. Look for the Connections navigation item in the sidebar. What you see here is the app.connections_nav. This is your central dashboard for all third-party service integrations. Every connection you create shows 5 key fields: name, type, status, permissions, and skills using. That skills using count is going to matter later when we talk about disconnecting, so keep it in mind. To create a new Google connection, click the New Connection button. This opens the app.connections.new.connections dialog. From here, you'll select the Google scopes, the specific permissions you want to authorize. CloneForce offers predefined scope packages for the most common use cases: Gmail read-only, Gmail send, Google Calendar events, Google Calendar read-only, Google Drive read-only, and Google Drive file access. A quick best practice: only select the scopes you actually intend to use. This keeps your authorization footprint clean and auditable. Next, you'll give your connection a name. Here's the clonestudio.connections.gmail.new_connection screen, followed by the clonestudio.containers.gmail.name connection screen. This is where you enter the Clone Studio Connections.name connection screen. This is where you enter ulenst5dml.name connection screen. This is where you enter the Clone Studio Connections.name connection screen. This is where you enter the dbail_connection screen. Use a clear naming pattern, something like work calendar Gmail or alex-gmail-send. If you ever manage multiple Google connections for different accounts or purposes, a consistent naming convention like person, purpose, service will save you a lot of confusion down the road. After naming, CloneForce redirects you to Google's own OAuth consent screen. Select the correct Google account from the account picker, carefully review the permissions being requested, and click Allow. When you return to Clone Studio, the connection will show a status of valid. That's your confirmation. The OAuth token was issued and stored successfully. Now let's verify it's actually working. Head into a chat with your clone and run a quick test. For calendar, try asking, "Check my availability tomorrow." That invokes the Google Calendar operator. You can see what this looks like in the Clone Studio, clocks, Google Studio operator, .Google Studio, Clone Studio like Google Studio. Try find my most recent email from, and then a sender name. That calls the Google Gmail operator, shown in the Clone Studio .skills.google_gmail_operator screen. If your clone returns real data with no authentication errors, your connection is live and working. Let's talk about what to do when things don't go as expected. If the wrong Google account is connected, go back to the app conditions_nav, remove the connection, and reconnect. This time, carefully selecting the correct account on the Google account picker. If permissions were denied, reconnect and make sure you actually click Allow on each scope group rather than dismissing the screen. Here's the scenario that trips up enterprise users. If you see an Access Blocked screen during the OAuth flow, that is not a user error. That's a Google Workspace admin policy enforcement. You'll need your IT administrator to whitelist CloneForce in the Google Admin Console under Security API Controls. One more thing to watch for over time. OAuth tokens can silently expire. If scheduled automations suddenly stop firing, your first diagnostic step is checking the connections dashboard for an expired status on your Google connection. Once your connection is active, this is where it truly comes to life for automation. Navigate to Clone Details and open the Schedule tab. Here's the Clone Details.Schedule tab.Add New Task dialog. This is where you create recurring tasks in the taskbook developable. This is the taskbook developable. You can move recurring Google operators automatically. You could configure your clone to check your Google Calendar every morning at 8 and send you a summary of the day's agenda, or set up hourly monitoring of a Gmail inbox for competitive research. One critical requirement: the Google connection must remain in a valid state for any scheduled task using Google operators to execute. The clone runs as you, authenticated through the connected account. Finally, when you need to disconnect, head back to the app/connections_nav, find your Google connection, and before you click remove, check the skills using count. Removing a connection that's powering active skills will silently break those skills and any scheduled tasks relying on them without any warning. Once you've confirmed it's safe to remove, click disconnect and confirm. The connection status clears immediately. Reconnecting is straightforward. Follow the same new connection flow and you'll configure your scopes and name fresh. That's it. Your Google connection is set up. Next, try a calendar or Gmail operator action in chat or build your first scheduled workflow from the Schedule tab. If this walkthrough helped, give it a like and subscribe. There's plenty more to come on building powerful automations with CloneForce.